We are 7:00. We can see us on that camera there, so if you want, we can go ahead and just
Okay,
yeah.
so I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Salish. Are there any late items? I think so. Can we get approval of the agenda? All in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. And adoption of the minutes.
Sorry, was there a mover and seconder for approval of the agenda?
Sorry, I just called the
That's
question.
okay.
Pardon me.
Sorry.
Okay, I propose.
Thank you.
Over.
Somebody
I'll second.
Second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we've already voted all in favor.
Perfect.
Can we back
That works for me.
Right.
That's all right.
We're on a mission here, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Adopted the minutes, and now I guess we're on to, sorry,
That was.
adopt the agenda, minutes,
Same for the minutes.
minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the meeting of April 2nd, 2025? Yes,
Yes, propose.
opposed, and all second, all in favor? You. And items for discussion. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're here tonight to look at the updated, amended official community plan bylaw. Now, there's going to be two types of OCPs that I'm going to be talking about tonight. Just for clarification purposes, the current OCP, I'll just refer to as the current, and that's the one we have in place, bylaw 1184 to 2022. And then the proposed or amendment bylaw is bylaw number 1229, 2025, just for clarification purposes. Now, one of the reasons that we have to do this, well, before we do that,
TV. It's not moving.
I'm going to turn on so that.
I can move through the slides for you, Ken.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Try that now, Ken.
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Need a bigger hammer.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
there you go.
Alrighty, so what we're gonna talk about tonight is some of the background information about what an OCP is, what it all is all about, the methodology that we use for this project update, some of the key issues that we analyzed. We'll look at some of the summary of the recent updates, and then we'll look at the expected outcomes of this bylaw, the updated bylaw. No, it's not working. I think the battery's dead because it's not even flashing. Oh, can we go back one? So basically, what is an official community plan? It's a document that is used to direct planning and land use management decisions. A lot of people figure that this is the regulatory document for the municipality, and it is not. What this is what says we want our houses over here, we want commercial over here, we want industrial over here, whatever it is, parks and recreation. It just lays out the vision for and the framework for the community's future development and growth. It's created under Section 472 of the Local Government Act, so that it has that authority, provincial legislation behind it, but it's treated normally as a policy and guideline document. It's very, very rare that you'll ever see that somebody's taken this document to court because the judges don't look at it as a statutory requirement. You have to argued it from a zoning bylaw perspective. But anyhow, next, please. So basically, there's two reasons for creating this amendment bylaw. This is that one that's in front of you, 1229. The Fraser Valley Regional District has just recently updated their regional growth strategy. And the other one is with the housing legislation that the province has brought in, we are required to update our OCP and zoning bylaws by December 31, 2025. To address the interim housing needs report. And then every 5 years thereafter, we are required to update the OCP, but that's down the road. Tonight, we're just here to talk about the amendment bylaw 1229. And the next slide, please. So how did we do this project? How did we approach it? Did we just decide that we're gonna do it this way? Well, we did a gap analysis where we conducted a comparison between the existing bylaw and the new legislative requirements, basically Bill 44. Then we prepared a background report which was presented at a past council meeting, just outlining what some of the issues that we have to look at, who we want to consult, how we want to consult, what are some of the housing issues that we need to address. And then notification letters were sent out and issued, as I was mentioning earlier, about how do we want to consult individuals. That's outlined under section 475 of the legislation, how often we're going to consult, who we're going to consult, that sort of stuff. What we've done in this case is there was a whole bunch of letters that we sent out to various agencies asking for their input, and I believe they're slowly trickling in, and all of that type of information will be available at the public hearing. And then the draft bylaw was developed, which is currently under review and discussion. That's at 1229 that we're talking about tonight. And then the public hearing has been authorized by council. So after we get all of the information collected, we will prepare our public hearing package with all of the information in there from all the various agencies, and that will be shared with the public during the public hearing. Next slide, please. So some of the issues that we reviewed with Be Insured, as I said earlier, that we are in compliance with the new provincial housing policy regulations. And we also had to update what is called the regional context statements, the RCS. Because remember, as I said, the Fraser Valley Regional District updated their regional growth strategy, or their RGS. And so because of that, we have to prove to the regional, or to the Fraser Valley Regional District, how current goals of the current OCP are in compliance with their goals. They have 8 goals, we have 10 goals in our plan. They have 8 in their regional growth strategy. Then as well, we looked at deleting and updating the new housing policies, looking at waiving fees and reducing land use regulations, which will take place through the zoning bylaw update. And then we've done is the removal of the CAC, or the Community Amenity Contribution section, and added the ability to create an ACC, and pardon the acronyms, but ACC stands for Amenity Cost Charges. So what the Community Amenity Contributions was all about, that was just a volunteer requirement. We go up to a developer and say, are you interested? They would say yes or no. Here's my rezoning application, and we're willing to give X number of dollars towards fire truck or whatever. We can't do that anymore. Yes.
Pardon me, I'm unclear on why this is being put in front of this committee. Are we the only agents who are going to decide on these matters?
No.
And is our approval necessary, required, or why are we
So,
being asked to review this level of document?
yeah, so we're asked to basically have an extra set of eyes on it, just like the building proposal, we're actually asked to have an extra set of eyes on it. We can't make any decisions, we can make suggestions, recommendations. It's up to council to decide whether they would like to agree with us and do what we suggest, or ignore it and non-file it.
But we're not the only people who are looking at it.
No.
Absolutely not, no.
This is what I was saying earlier. there's a list that we start at the front end of who we refer to, and they get comments back from the school, the Fraser Health, the fire department, APC, Ministry of Transportation, that sort of stuff.
So council is asking for our advice as the voice of the community on how to proceed with this.
Yes, yeah, you're just making a recommendation to council.
As the advisory.
Yeah.
planning
Yeah,
committee.
yes.
So we actually had the same question when we met back in August, and we went through the same question.
This isn't about our role within this.
No,
No, we are,
Just, we have a certain role and the council can throw us other things to look at. And this is under the other things.
Yeah.
Basically.
because quite frankly, these are quite transcendent matters and issues, you know, like the tourism development.
yeah, well, when the original official community plan was adopted, this one, it was referred to the APC as well for their comments.
Well, it's one thing to have,
It's the same with the zoning bylaw as well too.
it's another thing to
Yeah,
be intelligently commenting on a regional context statement produced by the regional offices. And
I don't think we're commenting on that. What I think what we came out of last time was the feeling that the legislation has forced Harrison to update their OCP.
perfunctory.
And there are certain things that we have to say we are doing, we're already doing, so it has to be expanded. And certain things that we have had to change. And a lot of this, when we went through, because there's only 3 of us here, and we went through it bit by bit, and we came up with a couple of things that were of concern. Now, if you want, through the chair,
Of course.
we go through everything again. Or you.
I think we need to kind of go through it, and we can kind of point out where we kind of stumbled.
Yeah.
Last time.
I must say, to be commenting on an OCP is quite different than defining a committee's role within the OCP.
No, it is, and
100%.
it's like when you have a job description, and it says everything you're doing, and then at the end it says, and other things as management direct, and
This
that
falls
that
under
comes
that.
under that.
you will, as the advisory planning commission, get a lot of the bylaws to look at and review. Some of the bylaws will deal with big developments, and some may not. Some are just like this. This is just an official community plan. So basically, anything to do with planning may come in front of you. There's no guarantee. That's up to council to decide how and when they're going to refer to you or not. One of the things that will not come in front of you is the development permits. It's a section in the bylaw, because that's a technical requirement between the planning staff and the developer.
So that's a staff function.
Yeah,
The only
it's
time I
strictly a staff
recall
function.
this committee engaging with a project, the entire engagement was about the definition of our role. And very little to do with the actual content. And with the uncertainty of the role, then it's even more uncertain to tackle the very broad parameters of this statement, but that's fine. As I say, I'm here to facilitate what I think is a perfunctory passage of a necessary
Sure.
bit of
Yeah.
bureaucracy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, there are a couple of
Yeah.
things. that-
It's only if there's contentious issues that I hear about that I.
Yep.
Yeah.
will hold. Okay. So, you carry on.
So the summary points of the updates, the first section, if you look at the proposed bylaw, 1229 in your agenda package. Which is outlined on page 9 of your agenda package. You'll see right under where it says point number 2, text amendment, the large letter A. Okay, so what that is we've taken out the current regional context statement in this bylaw, and we've replaced it with the regional context statements of the proposed bylaw. So this basically, this bylaw deals with the regional context statements from page 9 all the way up to, I believe it's 18 in the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, up to page 18, 3/4 of the way down. So inside of that section, what you will find is, remember what I mentioned, that the regional district or the regional growth strategy has 8 goals? Well, what we've done for this to prove that we're in compliance with their goals and their policies is if you look halfway up the page, you'll see 8.0 on page 18. It says climate change. That is their goal. And you can see the goal underneath. It says to mitigate the region's impact on global change. Policy 8.1 and 8.2 is their requirements. So the relevant OCP policies are as follows. Goal number 10, which we have in our current bylaw, indicates the following. So that tells us how we've met the climate change requirements in the regional context statement. And that's the same with B, because we're using a development permit tool called the greenhouse gas emission, as outlined in section 4.6 of the current bylaw. That's just further proof that we're in compliance with their goals and objectives and policies. So you can see that those sections, page 9 or 8, is it 8? Page 9 all the way to 18 deals with majority of the requirements of the regional context statement. Page 9 of the agenda package, all the way up to page 18 of the agenda package.
Right.
So do these stated goals in the OCP now align exactly with the stated goals in the regional district?
Yes, I do. We just have to prove to them by saying that our policies that exist already are already in compliance with your goals.
Now it's in writing.
Yeah, now we've proved it to them.
Our subservience is confirmed.
Okay, so that's.
So that's the first update. That's the entire section A of the proposed bylaw, as I mentioned. Here's those 8 goals that the regional growth strategy has. They've identified, and those are just the pages in the draft bylaw where it's all at. So as I said, under each goal, we've listed the regional growth strategy goal and the related policy statements. Then we've listed how our OCP is in compliance, as we've already just said. And in certain circumstances, we've just added other plans that we have in place that also apply. Let's go back. So the housing policies are on page 18 and page 19 of the bylaw. Paragraphs B and C. So what we've done in this section, we haven't changed any of the inputs into the bylaw. What we've done here is we've now just shown, we've elaborated quite a bit as to how we're going to address the housing issues, how we're going to address working with outside agencies on whatever the social housing issue is, as opposed to just saying, oh, we're gonna do it. Now we have to show because of the provincial legislation, how we're going to actually have our approach to the housing issues, how we're gonna have our specific policies in place. We can't just say we're gonna do it. We have to show to the province now how we're gonna do that, which is sections B and C. So what are the housing issue needs? Well, this is taken from the Housing Assessment Resource Tool that was created by the University of British Columbia. This just breaks everything all out, that we're looking at these issues here, the extreme core housing need, that we're looking at 4 individuals over a 5-year need. And when you're looking at that over a 20-year, it works out to be 15 based upon this tool that we just we just had to put in the numbers, and it's already populated for us, and out come all these other issues. But overall, you'll see at the bottom there, you can see that we have a 5-year requirement of working on 185 new dwellings over the next 5 years. And over the next 20 years, 637 new dwellings. But that's all of them.
Can we raise an issue here that we had?
Sure.
Well, I can't find it now.
Which one?
The one which mentioned,
Yeah,
Senior.
that's at the bottom, page 7, top page 8.
sorry?
Bottom page 7, top page 8.
Okay, we had a concern. Seven and eight.
It's on page 15 of the agenda package.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm working off the old.
That's okay, there's several numbers. so-
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
there it is, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On page 15, supplemental policies, just adopted a civic lands master plan, which I don't understand that sentence. The development of these lands adjacent to the village office, including the use of housing partnership arrangements with Agus and Heresy Community Services to submit a housing proposal that, if approved, will allow AHCS to build a senior housing project on the site. Now, to me, this OCP, my argument was this OCP is very general. It says we should be looking at senior housing, or we should be doing sunset. But this is like a rag to a bull if you put this in here.
It's very specific.
It's very specific.
Yes, it is. However, it's not written into our OCP in any stretch of the imagination. What this is, remember I just said, there's also supplemental policies. So we're just proving to the Fraser Valley Regional District Group that we're looking at these issues.
Can we make it more general then? Because I just think this is just going
If you
to,
wish,
this is
that
going
can
to.
be a recommendation.
sort of-
Does that,
Doesn't commit us to anything.
but does that actually then go into the amendment of the OCP?
It goes in, yes.
Yes,
Sorry, so just to clarify, the committee would make a recommendation that bylaw 1229 be amended, you know, however you want that amended.
Yes.
And then
It should
council
be a
would
more
look at,
general statement
yes.
than
right,
a specific.
Okay,
so if that's the recommendation of the,
Okay,
sorry, I'm
just-
just gonna finish, sorry, just a second. If that's the recommendation of the APC, so any, you know, you could theoretically go through it line by line and make recommendations line by line, and council would look at that, and then they would have to make a decision
Yeah.
based off of
We're not
that,
gonna
so.
recommend wording, but just that should be a more
More
general
generalized,
statement.
or you can recommend specific wording too, if you think that
If you
there's a
wanted to.
better way to word that, or,
however, it means it's irrelevant.
I know that,
It's
but
irrelevant because it's just a simple statement that says, we've got all of these bylaws, we've got these policies, and here's a minor supplemental policy. It doesn't commit the council to anything.
you try and explain that to them.
Given the current
Understood.
climate in Harrison, yeah, I know, to us, given the current climate in Harrison, that is, like you were saying, is hanging red.
Well, we're not here to,
I realize that, but
it's a political issue.
I know, I know.
It's presented as a done deal in this,
No.
in this.
No. Again,
That's how it reads.
yes, understand, please, let's just remember, it's called a supplemental policy. Nowhere in the current document will you find this reference to what I just said here, in the civic lands. Nowhere in this document.
My concern is, where is the supplemental policy reside? How many other supplemental policies are there that weren't quoted in here as
That was
examples?
my job, to go through it and talk about the supplemental policies, to talk about what is currently in our bylaw, to talk about supplemental policies like our trails and master plan, that's mentioned in here. Our transportation plan is mentioned in here. Our water and infrastructure plan are also mentioned in here. They're also supplemental policies.
Well, then I would reflect the sentiment I'm hearing here,
Sure.
is that
No,
this talks about an old folks home just behind over here.
Yes.
I understand.
That's a pretty
No, it
specific
doesn't.
thing.
It doesn't.
Sorry, submit a housing proposal,
Just adopt it,
that would be
okay? But again,
on these lands.
please remember that an official community plan is a policy document. It just drives the philosophy. This supplemental policy is not a development guideline for
No,
the community. All it is just showing to the regional district that we are working with partners on addressing whatever the issue is.
That was an unfortunate choice then.
Okay,
Example.
then, exactly, yeah, so then, in my opinion, we should either, this whole G, supplemental policy, that part should be removed, or worded in general, like you just said, that we are exploring options with.
The
agencies.
council is committed to exploring options
yes.
Yes.
to
Thank you.
accommodate that type of use
Yeah,
for
yeah,
their plans.
You guys you can make that recommendation, but you just remember that this does not mean anything
I
at this
understand,
particular point in time. It is not a policy, it is not a regulatory document. It's just a supplemental policy. I understand people are annoyed at the civic lands master plan, and heaven forbid that we even mention it, but let's have a discussion about it.
Yeah.
This is just a supplemental policy. This is just another tool that we have, that the council has adopted to prove to the regional district.
I like Dennis's is much more general wording, and this is purely political. I mean, today I went to the hairdresser and I got accosted about this whole thing. You know, so I think it's just going to open up this whole thing again, which is not.
And if it's just to prove, as an example, that there are supplemental policies, and it's unnecessary, then we'll just remove it. Why are we proving it with something so contentious?
Or we make it more general, as Dennis said.
exactly.
Well, then we take out all the supplemental policies.
No, this one in particular,
Sorry.
yes, Amanda.
Sorry, thank you. I completely understand where the commission is coming from on this. I think it is still important to highlight that the Village Lands Master Plan exists as a supplemental plan.
Fair enough, I'm not disputing that.
Yeah, and I think maybe just a suggested wording that you can take and run with, just to kind of focus this conversation a little bit. I've got here, we could put recently adopted a Village Lands Master Plan, which supports the village exploring partnerships to support affordable rental and special needs housing. Because that is that's the wording of the
Yes, that's fair
legislation,
enough.
right, Ken?
Perfect,
Affordable rental and special needs housing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so can I make a motion then? I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that under the supplemental policy, however you note it, Amanda, amend the wording to what you just said there.
What we just said, yes.
Yeah,
recently
seconding
adopted,
that.
I'll just reiterate it just for clarity, so recommend that bylaw number 1229/2025 be amended to amend section G under supplemental policies or bylaws to recently adopted a Village Lands Master Plan which supports the village exploring partnerships to support affordable rental and special needs housing.
see these 4 points? These are some other supplemental points.
And that's fine.
They're fine.
But it doesn't specifically say to everybody, here we go, going to get rid of your parking.
It doesn't imply a commitment.
exactly.
This, again, see, this is where we're having a bit of a divergence.
Yeah.
This supplemental policy does not mean that we are going to do it.
I know
It
that.
does not have any action to it.
I know,
I know.
That's all.
but it's here and
That's the way
it's gonna be a
people
red,
are
it's a red
understanding.
thing.
Yeah, I know, I understand, and I've had this discussion with many people. already, so
Okay,
it's,
that was my.
it doesn't mean anything. But anyhow,
Okay.
Sorry, did you want to have a motion on the floor there?
So
Mr. Chair?
I think, do we have a motion on the floor?
If you would, if you moved
I would
it,
like to,
yeah,
like to move the motion that we amend, that we
recommend.
recommend that the wording of this section under supplemental policies be reworded to what you just read out to us there.
And I'll second that.
Discussion on.
Okay,
the-
discussion?
It's already
I
occurred.
think we've already had our discussion, haven't we? Yeah. All in favor?
okay, just to kick the can again.
Yeah.
Section 7.2 of the OCP already talks about utilizing spaces for seniors housing in the municipality.
No,
That's a guideline.
and that's fine. It just,
I'm just
I understand.
Yeah.
We.
trying to make a
I
point,
know.
understand.
We're just trying to get this thing through. The last one, how many years did it take you to get?
I
through?
won't get into reasons why that,
That's what I said. Yes.
that's because an individual decided that they were, well, anyhow, we won't go there.
Well, there are certain individuals who are also expecting. Yes.
The expected outcomes of the OCP amendment, that we're gonna meet the provincial requirements with the updated official community plan. We're gonna meet the Fraser Valley Regional District regional growth strategy requirements with the new regional context statement. We're gonna change the CAC to ACC, amenity cost charges, which will be set up similar to what it's gonna be like for a development cost charge. We have to go through the same process, and it'll allow for further work on the zoning bylaw to address the housing issues that have been identified in the official community plan. Because as we all know, the OCP is implemented through the adoption of a zoning bylaw. And that's where the land use regulations come into play.
What's the difference between the ACC and the DCC, development cost charges?
Development cost charges deal with the hard infrastructure, like parks, sewer, water, roads.
Okay.
ACC deals with amenities.
Got it.
Like if somebody's coming in and we need a new murals, we need
Playground.
whatever, playground, well, that's covered through the DCCs and the 5% for parkland dedication. So, but yeah, I understand, it's just another tool to look at the amenities.
Yeah.
That may be impacted.
Now, I don't know whether you understood this before, it was a voluntary thing. And now it's set in a table.
Yeah,
Yeah, my understanding is the underlying mechanism is to encourage developers to include amenities.
that's what the CAC was trying to do, but there was nothing in the legislation that actually allowed it. But having said that, in 2014, the Municipal Affairs Department came out with a guideline on how to implement a CAC without it even being in the legislation.
Yes, it's.
So it was in that gray area.
It was voluntary before, so some people could put forward a proposal with no payment.
Yeah.
And there would be
It
no
was
reason.
compulsory voluntary.
Now it's.
Well, yeah,
Now it'll be compulsory, once we get the ACC in place, and this is what the section D and the bylaw.
Yeah, it's on the last page.
and that would be in place once this is adopted, third reading by council or?
No,
No.
if there's a process that we have to go through, like doing the development cost charges.
Okay.
It's, we can't just arbitrarily come up, we have to have like 5-10 year capital projections for new fire hall,
I see, okay.
those sorts of things, so we have to, so we can justify what we're talking about.
Okay,
Art strategy, what do we wanna do with our art strategy, that sort of thing, so we gotta look at the strategic plans and all of these other plans, I was gonna say supplemental,
it's okay.
all these other things, and figure out what is in there that's
Yeah.
being required, and how much it's gonna cost, and then aim for with the ACCs.
And that would then get broken down per, like, for the size of a unit, so say somebody wants to build.
We can break it down, there's a couple of ways to do it, we can break it down out by the number of employees that a business is gonna generate.
Yeah.
We can break it out by square footage, or we can break it out per unit. And I would suggest we do it per unit and the square footage.
Is there some
Square
kind of
footage
a-
is commercial, and the per unit is for when residential comes.
And then size of unit as well versus,
That, no,
no, okay.
that would be just the number of units.
Is there some sort of a guideline or framework, something? that
Yes,
you
they have a
can-
guideline for it, yeah. It's on the website,
The provinces, or the.
yeah, the province's website, it's up
Yeah.
there, yeah.
And I think we have to remember that this ACC is for capital costs. It can't be used for expenses by
Yeah.
the council.
That's true,
Okay, is that right?
yeah.
Well, not necessarily expensive by the council, but can't be used for, the paying labor to
No,
cut the grass in
no.
front of the town hall, so. Used to buy a fire engine.
Yeah, Yep. or whatever. So that's what the bylaw 1229 is all about. The majority of it, as I said earlier, 9-10 pages is just the regional context statement. Which is interesting, because if you look at the current bylaw, when life was so much simpler, you'll see it's only, I believe, 2 pages.
And it took you how long?
Yeah, pages 5 and 6, now it's 9 pages, 10 pages.
Andy, I think you had another concern, didn't you?
No, I think that was the one,
That was, it.
that was the one, yeah.
Yeah, that was the one that you
Yeah.
had.
I'm very much relying on you to have perused this and found items like that.
Well, actually, Robert, who's not here, did a huge amount of work.
He
on
did,
this.
yeah.
He really did do a lot of work.
And he flagged these concerns.
He didn't flag that one, I think.
No,
Andy
I flagged that one, yeah.
But he did a lot of work.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
This is a little bit more than I had anticipated. And,
I wouldn't have been able to do it without last week's, sort of what we did last week.
Yeah.
That was-
Well, I'm glad that was helpful.
That one definitely was helpful, yeah. We appreciate that.
that really helped.
So, yeah. If there's any other questions, feel free to just,
see, I was under the general impression after perusing these that, of course, we're going to accept the regional context statement as prepared by the region of Kent. We're not going to say, oh, that should be different.
Fraser Valley Regional District, not Kent.
Kent.
Kent is part of Fraser
Oh,
Valley
yes,
Regional
yes.
District. FDID.
However, the point being is that we weren't going to actually suggest changes or critique it.
But see,
We were
the
just
thing
going
is
to
that
say, yes, of course.
the Fraser Valley Regional District has their framework, just like Ken was just saying, that province has its framework for applying the ACC. Okay, and then Ken has taken what FVRD put out and adapted it to our community here, and made things make sense according to what we have here.
And these are what you've been describing.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
In terms of the strategy,
It's
as opposed to contributing to the tactics of it.
it's a sort of no-brainer, most of it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I thought, perfunctory is the term I had come up with.
Yeah.
And that's why I came here prepared to make sure that we had a quorum,
Yes,
Thank you.
appreciate that.
as opposed to
thanks.
have studied this.
Don't put that in the minutes, he hasn't studied it.
It's on the video.
I reviewed it.
everybody's prepared.
I repeat it.
Yes, yes.
The very first, well, not the very first, one of the times I was making a presentation on a zoning bylaw amendment for the city of Grand Forks. And this counselor came running in, ripped open his agenda package on the spot, said, I object.
I've had that sort of
And I'm
thing.
thinking, okay, so the mayor.
Have you even looked at it?
No.
No,
And after he sat down and looked at it, he said, no, I'm okay.
but it's disheartening. I remember doing that with budget meetings and people turning up with the budget and opening up the budget.
Yeah,
Think, well, wait a minute, you know what I mean?
it's, yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, so
But
I wanted to
anyway,
make it clear
Hmm?
at the outset that
so.
No, you're right.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
We get that motion?
Yep, they
Okay.
voted on it already, yep.
So
Okay.
So what can we go ahead?
anything
and do?
else?
Any other comments, questions? No? Make a motion to adjourn? Second by Judy. Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's it.
So,
Okay.
just so you know, this doesn't go to the council directly. What it'll do, it'll go through the public hearing